Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are heading to the CHAPS Associated Championships, not with Ruffy. You are not a CHAPS registered pony, but with Milo. Say hi. We are here. I have ridden, as you will have seen, and I'm now sat in front of the heaters. We have a little oil radiator and this like blown heater thing, I don't really know, but they're warming me up because it is freezing. It is so windy. Milo hates the wind, so that didn't bode well initially, but he's in his stable now. He's pretty settled, fingers crossed he doesn't have a fit, but yeah, so I rode him and he was really good. If anyone has watched last year's video from this show, you will know he was, to be fair, I probably downplayed it in that video. He was a total nightmare. But it was his first stay away, so I kind of had no expectations. But he would not go near any of the banners in the outdoor. He span around, probably more than once. He was, really spooky, wouldn't go near them, really tense. Tonight he was tense, but he was listening. He went past banners, didn't even look at them. So I was so pleased with that. And yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. Don't know what to expect really, but I'm hoping. My problems last year were the tension, but that was mainly caused by his spookiness in the indoor. He was really bad at the top end. He's in the same arena again this year, so it'll be a really good test for him to see. So I'm really hoping mainly to just achieve that he's not spooky, he's much more confident than last year, and that what we've been working on at home, with the tension and getting him to take his neck out and stuff, he might still get tense, that's fine, but if he responds to that, then I'll be really pleased with him. It's dark, I don't know why, but last year when we were here it was light. I don't know if we got here early or what, but yeah, it was slightly earlier in the year, I don't really know, but rode under lights tonight. And yeah, so it's really dark. I haven't platted him and he's on early tomorrow, so we're going to do the arena walk and I'm going to have to factor in platting him and then re-tacking him up and stuff ready to compete, but we'll see, it'll be fine. Good boy. Good boy. Arena walk time. I've just shoved a cereal bar down my throat, so I've had something to eat. I'm gonna go and do the arena walk now, and then hopefully have enough time to plat him and get him ready. Good boy.
You have got numbers on under there, haven't you? Right. Numbers, please.
Okay.
Thank you. And please.
Yeah, she is.
Crazy timings, but I've got platted and I'm gonna get on right now. Oh my god. This is my 100th attempt at filming this voiceover because my dog keeps finding things to bark at to ruin it. But anyway, here is the Novice 37A test with Milo. It was great to have Horse and Country film this. They're really lovely to have these videos of the tests to look back on, and they're such great quality compared to like the typical iPhone. So I was pleased with this entry, and we got to see and we didn't spin round. So that to me is always a win and never a guarantee. The biggest thing with Milo that you might not necessarily see, because I don't necessarily always share massive amounts of footage, I don't always get footage, but he is very, I wouldn't say nervous, I'd say anxious, and to me there is a bit of a difference between those two things. But he's definitely a bit of a worrier, and I do feel that he comes into the arena away from the other horses and he gets just that bit of tension. I think he's very good. He doesn't nap or anything like that. The other horses might, but I can feel that when he comes away from those horses, he's a bit nervous on his own. And I felt on this circle that he was, as I came around here, falling through that outside shoulder towards the door to go back to the warm-up and see the other horses. And that obviously affected the contact. And then this medium trot here. But, you know, he didn't have a major meltdown. And he didn't get too tense, got him back. Previously, this horse would go around with his nose almost on his chest. You can see there he's a bit inattentive. Someone actually came through the door, but I just gave him a bit of a pat because previously that would have been enough to send him into orbit across the arena, and then that would have affected the walk, which is coming up. So yeah, I was really pleased with him for that. But he is just so different in a test to how he is in the warm-up with the other horses and in training at home. And in the test, it's obviously harder. At home, I'd maybe put him on a circle or leg yield or something to get his body moving and his brain thinking. You obviously can't do that in a test. But the week previous to this, I did try something a bit different because in our outing before, I found that he was getting really nervous and anticipating in the corners. So I worked on half halting before the corners, pushing him out and round into them. And then that seemed to really help. Moving his body just gave him that little bit of relaxation. And yeah, I was pleased with the walk because that's often where he obviously jogs. So I tried to do that with this corner a bit, and he was just not quite on side. That's kind of what I mean about the difference between him in the test and at home. Like generally at home, that probably wouldn't happen. But in the test situation, he's just that bit nervous. He's not really listening to my aids all the time. I was more pleased with this medium. But you can see he kind of loses balance, comes back at me a little bit as I go to half halt him. The tension also shows with him being a bit kind of mouthy with the bit. He's always been like that. He's been really difficult to bit, but he never seems to like anything else that we give him. He's obviously a bit quarters in there, so that's something to continue to bear in mind. But yeah, he's always been really difficult in the mouth. This is a bit that he's liked most. We've been through a lot of bits, but this is what he decided he liked most. And I do think a lot of it does come from how he is in like his body and his mind. He's a lot less mouthy when he's relaxed. This is our little moment. So he came across there, and there was actually a horse by the opening to the door, and I think he saw it, got a bit of a fright, and then I could feel him bowling on, and I went to my hand instead of using my seat first. He's really responsive to the seat. So that was completely my fault, and then he just came against the hand because I half halted. But the give and retake was good, and he recovered well. He was a bit tense coming back from canter, but then he settled down. He did the canter transition nicely. This circle I was happy with. And then back across the other way for the canter with the give and retake. Again, in the canter, I just didn't feel like he was really listening or on my seat as much as he can be at home. So these are all things that I do feel will come with time and experience, but I was really pleased with him. He made no major mistakes. Here you can see he's a bit tense, but again, just try and stay quiet, half halt him and then let him go, because I do find that if I tend to hold him, that makes him nervous. So it's all these things to bear in mind. But yeah, really pleased with him. His little halt to finish, and he was a very good boy. So yeah, lots to take away and think about, but lots to be really pleased with as well, especially from last year. A treat for a good boy. And a present. Good boy. You enjoying that? We are just about to kind of wrap up packing up. I'm ready to go home. We don't need to clean his stable out because they're going to pick up with the tractor apparently. So he's just munching on his hay. His buckets are all ready to go. And then we're going to go home. It's still so cold and windy here. But yeah, we're going to go home, just change his rug. So he's ready to leave. But he was so good. And we're in the top 10. It is now a week later, and I thought it was about time I sat down and told you about our test. Or not so much our test, because obviously you'll have seen that and heard my thoughts on it, but just kind of wrap it all up so that I can edit this and put it out. So Milo's had this past week off because he was such a good boy. And honestly, I was so proud of him. You'll have seen that he had that little moment. I need to rest my arm, it's so heavy. But yeah, he had that little moment, if you could even really call it that. And yeah, other than that, I was really pleased because he's been places previously, and if you've seen the Sheepgate video, he tends to be better the more he does. So going somewhere to do one test isn't really suited to him, but that's obviously how these things work generally. So I was so pleased with how he was. I felt like I was losing him in the warm-up. And then they were running ahead, but I was like, I'm not ready to go in. So I'm really pleased I managed to get him back on side, and that he mainly was very good and stayed on side in the test. There wasn't too much tension, which I was really pleased with, because he was really bad last year. Like, when I say he was really bad, he did the prelim in that arena, and he was literally like parallel. What's the word? He was basically, if the arena was here, he was like there, like leg yielding down the short side. He was terrified, even though he'd done the arena walk and everything. This year he was so good. He didn't spook at anything. He was so relaxed in the arena walk, just generally really well behaved. Don't bark. But yeah, I was so pleased with him. I don't think I'm going to put the marks in because my brain can't cope with doing lots of marks and comments and stuff. But I will say that the one judge used marks from 6 to 7, which is obviously where his work is sitting anyway. That's kind of what I'd expect. The other judge gave him 6.5 for everything, but 2 6s, one of which was for the little moment, and 1 7 for a canter circle. So the one judge that just used 6.5s all the way through, she gave us 64, I've got it here, 64.81, so just under 65%. And the other judge gave us 67.22, which I was really happy with that one. So yeah, he was 4th in the silver section and he was 7th overall. And it obviously goes on the overall placing apart from the winners. So here's his rosette, still attached to his sheet. I haven't put it all away yet. He actually had the same score as 6th, but I'm guessing the collectives or the free walk mark or something meant that we were 7th, but I'm still so proud of him. He was such a good boy. He was impeccably behaved under saddle all weekend. Bit touchy in the stable, but he settled after a while and it was so windy, you couldn't really blame him. So on the whole, I am just a really positive experience, really pleased. Kind of, it was what I was hoping for, but not what I expected, if that makes sense. I never try to put any expectations on him because he's just so unpredictable with his behaviour and stuff. So I try not to do that. But if I was going to put a hope on it, I really did want to be in the top 10. I just thought that would be a great finish for the year. And he did it, so I'm just so pleased. I just keep saying that, but I'm really proud of him this year. I'm really proud of us as a partnership. He's been so difficult. And he's really tested me. And there's been so many times when I could quite happily have given up. But I'm really proud of myself that I didn't, and I'm really proud of him. And I'm proud of how it's all coming together. And I'm really looking forward to next year now. We've got one more show left next weekend as I'm filming this. So I've got to get back on him and get him going again, ready for that. But he's really good like that now. Hopefully the cold weather's not got to him. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and then looking forward to seeing what next year has in store for us. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I will see you again very soon.